Hello and welcome back to another episode of MC Airsoft. My name is Mark and today we're going to be talking about the JAG Arms GM5. First things first, it's clear, as all the guns and all the airsoft guns in all these videos are. Okay, one thing of note though, it does have gas in it. For those of you who don't have experience with gas-powered airsoft guns, should always leave a little bit of gas in there in addition to, lubing up the gun. It keeps the O-rings good. So I will say that much, but like I said, no BBs. Okay. So this is the GM5 by JAG Arms. JAG Arms. Okay, it's a 5.1 Hi-Capa, basic things. This is at the time of recording, sub $100 version. I believe it's like 98 bucks or something like that. Okay, now obviously this has had work done to it. We'll go over that. This was originally the tan slide black frame version. Okay, so a little bit about the original pistol, solid pistol. Okay, in my opinion, I've been playing for about 16-ish years now. It's as good as any other. Is it going to blow away, upgraded Hi-Capas out of the box? No, of course not. Is it as good as I expect a pistol to reasonably be? Yes. Do I consider this a really good pistol for the price? Yes. Okay. So that's another thing. This isn't a $200 pistol. This isn't a $500 pistol. It's a sub $100 pistol. If you want to get into pistols, it's a good choice. Okay. Range on this, about 75 feet to a telephone pole. Expect maybe 100 feet to a person. You're probably going to have to put a couple shots downrange at them. Okay. It was able to hop 0.3s just fine. 0.2s kind of, or 0.32s kind of a struggle. Okay. But 0.3 is just fine. I would recommend going with 0.28s or 0.25s if you do pick one of these up. Depending on what you're using, it's probably going to work a little bit better. I tend to go for heavier BBs because the amount of wind that I have to deal with, both on my property and also at my local play field. Okay, so I rather trade off distance for accuracy. That being said, it's solid for range and accuracy. It's fairly solid. Okay. The magazines, they hold, I believe it was 28. Okay. I had no issue filling them with gas, and for gas, just for reference, I'm using the Elite Force green gas. Normal stuff, you can buy it pretty cheap on Airsoft GI. That being said, I also bought this on Airsoft GI. Okay, so I was able to get about 2 mags. Now, I also live at an elevation about 2,800 feet or so, so your mileage may vary. Also, it is not very hot right now, which is weird for May in Arizona, but it's been fairly cool temperature-wise. So if you live in a hot climate, if you live down towards sea level, if you use propane, if you use other types of gas, mind you that might be different, but that was my experience with both magazines because I did order an extra one. Both magazines, I was getting about 2 magazines full of BBs for 1 fill of gas. Of course, it is going to slow down as you slow down the cycle speed, slow down the BBs as you get towards the end of that second magazine of gas or of BBs. The second magazine of BBs on the same gas fill. Okay. So other than that, I can't say anything too bad about it. My one complaint I do have is on the Airsoft GI website, it showed a different grip. It showed a more traditional style grip. When it arrived, it did come with the honeycomb grip, which I hate. Just my personal preference. If you like that, keep that in mind. I also did on the website leave a brief review, in which I did mention that. So that's big advice I can give to anyone looking at airsoft guns is read the reviews. While some of them are biased for, some of them are biased against, okay, that's fine. But read all the reviews. You might find some interesting information there. Okay, so like I said, it's a solid pistol. It's not much to talk about, in all honesty. Does it take all the Hi-Capa parts? Everything I've tested, okay. Everything I've been able to measure works fine, okay. So if you want something to upgrade over time and you don't mind not having a rail, look at this one. You know, for $100, considering most people are buying Hi-Capas and dumping another $200-300 into them anyway, you might as well start at a lower price point, get a metal slide, metal frame. Okay. I am not a fan of the Tokyo Marui ones. One, I don't have duster gas. Can't really get duster gas here very easily. Okay. And also not a fan of not having the metal frame. Okay. So if you're already going to buy a Tokyo Marui, gut it 100%, replace the frame, replace the side, probably replace the grip, and leave it so the only thing left is maybe a couple screws and a couple springs. Why not just start with something cheaper? Okay, and if you want a rail, they do have railed sections for a little bit more. I think they're still under $130 at the time of filming. But if you don't mind not having a rail, or if you're handy enough to put your own rail on there, it's fine. Okay. Some other things comes with the adjustable rear sight, non-adjustable front sight. Normal 1911 otherwise, right? You got a trigger, non-adjustable. Okay. You got your normal slide release safety, ambidextrous safety, which is pretty standard nowadays. Grip safety. Okay. You got a decent little skeletonized hammer. Okay. Again, fairly normal, especially with airsoft guns. Now, not much else to say. I mean, it is, from my granted limited experience and sample size of one, it's fairly reliable, and it's fairly accurate. So, now what have I done to it? Because obviously this does not have a tan slide anymore. It's not, doesn't look very, it doesn't look really like the original, right? There's obviously been some stuff done to it. So first thing I did is I went in and I stripped off all the tan. Why did I get a tan pistol? Just to strip off all the tan? I wanted the black grip because it's a lot harder to change color on plastic than it is to change color on aluminum. So went ahead and stripped off the black from the barrel, the black from the safety, basically from all of the external metal parts. Okay, I left some parts silver. Okay, I left this is a Mad Bull compensator, Punisher style compensator. This is made for 1911s, so I did have to lathe down the barrel in order to seat this on here. Okay, this part right here is still part of the compensator. It's just been sanded down. This is where the barrel starts. So I laid off that much barrel in order to seat it, and then I super glued it on because I'm planning on getting a new barrel for it eventually, and I wanted to be able to remove the compensator. So yeah, so other than that, smooth and polished, or sanded at least, the barrel. Okay, left some parts silver. I took the frame and the slide. We'll talk about the slide in a second. The frame and slide have been chemically blued. They are aluminum. They do react to aluminum black, in case you're interested in that. Always practice, safety when using chemicals and all that. Obviously left the sights black. Okay, the only modification I've done to the sights is I put a little bit of green in the front sight, which is just my preference. It's an iridescent green paint. You can use nail polish, you can use whatever. Okay, so now the slide, let's see how well that picks up on camera. This is acid etched. Okay, this is done by my business partner over at Shadowcrest Design. He handles all the etching for the company. So shameless self plug, right? Done this nice design. He designed it, he etched it. My initials on there, and it's got a Memento Mori theme. So skulls, roses, got the broken watch there. Really nice etch, really well done. And it comes silver, so I aluminum blacked it. I wanted it to match from a distance. I wanted it to be reminiscent of the 2003 Punisher 1911. I grew up watching it, loved that movie. Okay, I always wanted a 1911 in that fashion. I'm not spending the money on a real one, so I got a Hi-Capas, so it's not as useless as regular 1911, and it's upgradable, and I've made it work, right? So yeah, so again, nice etching on there. Okay, wraps around. There's the skulls and flower down there. He did a great job. We're going to be doing more of these. If you're interested in a Hi-Capa slide or frame, or both, or whatever, as long as it's aluminum, we can etch it. Hit up Shadowcrest Design on Facebook or Instagram or on the website. So that being said, I sanded off the honeycomb texture, added in an epoxy and grit texture. Okay, so not super aggressive because it doesn't need to be. I just did it with things I had laying around. So that is some grit on there, just to give it a little bit different of a look. I hated the honeycomb, so I got rid of it. And then, like I said, I cleaned off all of the black from the parts that should be silver from the original Punisher 1911. So it looks more like that. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's a solid pistol. Magazines, both of mine worked. One has a little bit of a wonkiness filling it. The other works just fine. And they both hold gas just fine. So your mileage might vary, but that is also an easy part to replace. If you do get extra magazines, just get Tokyo Marui ones or whatever. Okay. FPS wise, now again, the green gas that I'm using at the elevation and the temperature that I'm testing it with the 0.2s, I was getting about 310, so it's good for indoor ranges, okay, indoor fields, whatever you want to call it. I got this partially to be a sidearm for my bolt action, which is normally right here, but it's in the case still from this past weekend. Okay, cycle rate, pretty solid, no issue there. Okay, it's nice and snappy. It's less snappy with the compensator because it's a little more weight going forward, but it's pretty solid. Okay, no issues there. It's all around just a solid gun. Yeah, I know there's complaints about them. There are issues that have been addressed and fixed in different versions of these. So your mileage might vary. I get that. So don't void your warranty before testing everything. Just saying. So yeah, no, it's a solid pistol in my opinion. Again, sample size of 1, sample size of 2 for the magazines, I guess, but works for what I wanted to do, and it looks pretty good, feels pretty sturdy, feels pretty good when shooting. I can recommend it, although again, I do recommend not voiding that warranty. So until next time, stay safe and stay hydrated.